This was scary, exhilarating, and makes you doubt everything you ever learned that's real and unreal.
Back in 2014, I began work on a 10-part documentary series on the subject of Bigfoot. It took me places I did not expect to go, and it gave me a perspective I did not expect to have. Well, it's been 10 years, and a lot of questions still remain. Join me and help me to answer the litany of questions hanging over the phenomenon known as Bigfoot.
Walking up, I could see that there was something there. As I got closer, it stood up.
I know there's something there. I'm a lot more leery when I go out. I mean, really leery.
And I seen this humongous arm reach right in.
One of the dogs got killed, twisted, and torn in two.
What the heck have I heard when I've been out in the wilderness on so many different occasions? When I want answers, I go after them. My new documentary film, The Question of Bigfoot, will attempt to answer all of the skeptics' burning questions. Why don't we see one on a trail cam? Where are the bones? Have they ever been hit by a car? Why haven't we captured one? Is there enough room out there in the wilderness for them to exist? Are they real or are they not? I can't do this without you. So take a look at all of the rewards within this Kickstarter campaign and help me to produce The Question of Bigfoot. On July 27th, 2007, while filming a scene from my Survivorman Alaska show, I was distracted by noises in the bush about 100 yards away. If you watch me in these scenes, you can see times when I momentarily look off into the bush on a number of occasions. I was wondering what the sound was. I'm used to sounds in the bush, so I wrote it off as a moose or a bear and carried on shooting the scenes of making a grass bed for my shelter. But eventually, I finished capturing the footage I needed and shut off the cameras. As I walked towards my shelter, I heard a hair-raising, extremely loud sound that could only be described as something like a great ape grunting at me. I've heard many bears grunt, and this was nothing like that. What's more, it repeated it 4 more times very loud while I stood frozen in my step. When I made my move to grab the camera, it took off through the bush and sounded like a freight train breaking trees as it covered many hundreds of yards in seconds. Those sounds have haunted me to this day. He feels that the systematic and seemingly uniform breaks in trees are signs of communication from Gigantopithecus. They were marking territory for the trappers, part acceptance, part warning.
You know, I've broken a lot of branches in my lifetime for doing survival.
Yes.
I've had to bend over a lot of trees, break a lot of trees, cut a lot of trees.
Yes.
And I'm just thinking about this, and I'm just, you know, it would need to be a powerful hand, a grip that snaps and breaks like that. See, I keep trying to excuse this by snow. Saying, well, if there was like 3 feet of snow crystallized on the top and the wind comes in and then snap, right?
Yeah.
But that's not usually how it works.
No, it
you know, the trees can bow over and they might just sort of stay like that. I've seen that over and over again. To be just out in the open like this, you know, and to be snapped like that, yeah, it's like it takes hands. I'm just actually starting to really feel that now, thinking of the different trees I've seen. And being able to, all of a sudden, I feel like I can recognize the difference between a tree that is purposely broken off and put over versus there was lots of snow on the top and it bent over in the wintertime. Well, I'll tell you, it's going to open up my eyes to tree breaks whenever I'm in the wilderness now.
I think they built this structure, and I wasn't much of a tree structure believer. Then I came back here and I was like, damn, that's pretty significant.
Like in many other areas, these tree structures stand out as different from the forest around them.
So this first tree, how could that have fallen naturally? Look at it, the way it's bent like that.
No, it looks wedged in, absolutely. It looks almost weaved. And you'd have to have some serious pull-down pressure to get it to do that. And even snow load's not going to be enough for that. You have to use your mind's eye with this. This tree was standing straight up. And for snow load or even rot, it's going to come down like that, right? It's going to come down straight. Now, it's going through a whole line of trees, like 1, 2, 3, 4, all these trees in different directions like this. To get down straight like this, all the way down, would have taken some serious grip and pressure to pull it down into position. At this point, it just doesn't seem plausible that snow load and wind could put that tree in that position. So it had to be something else. Now, this tree here, it doesn't even have a... And if you push it down, seeing the rot, seeing how this is here, you should see basically the same thing on the ground, same sort of age. And it's not there. The older members might be doing some kind of a structure. Are the younger ones actually watching their elders and following suit and practicing? And so we have this big tree structure over there that took some serious strength, and then we come here and we've got a smaller structure as if, you know, the teenager was practicing. This is really interesting.
Yeah. To keep the structure up, they'll find a little wedge on another tree, and then they'll pile a whole bunch of others on top of it. If that wedge was to fall, the structure would lose significant integrity.
I know I'm ruling out humans altogether. I'm ruling out you because basically these are old. They've been here for many years.
Yeah.
You couldn't have done this before I got here. And ruling out wind and rain, we really end up with snow load. And in the concept of snow load, that's where I do my trees one at a time. And I mean, this one is almost hard to figure out and count because I still see the skinny one as tree number 1. It's like it was pulled all the way down. Then the other one had to be wedged over top to hold it down. So now you got tree number 2, which is the strongest and the biggest. So what's tree number 3? Tree number 3, oh man.
Trying to decipher tree structures in the forest like some kind of CSI exercise can be compelling.
Okay, so now here we go. Here's a tree that's in the middle. It's in the middle of the structure. Where's the root system? That's missing the roots. That's jammed in there. That's not. Okay, so this tree, in its position, like that, like I would make a shelter of sorts, in between the weave, very old, obviously, same age as the rest of the trees here, and there's no root structure. That is jammed in there. There's no roots underneath it. In fact, my fingers felt basically a rock. There's a rock there. So if it was part of a snowfall and it fell like this and landed, you trace it down, the root structure's there. Maybe twist, maybe broken, maybe bent, whatever, but it's there. In this case, there's no root structure. It's just jammed in there. Okay, now you got me. This one, being potentially done by an adolescent, is perhaps the most intricate we've seen so far. This was the structure that's blowing my mind. Whoever this kid is, he's a little bit of an artist.
I would say welcome to Bigfoot country.
The 2 apples on the beach are gone. Now, they were on the ground. Likely case scenario is something very simple came along and took it. So I'm gonna step wherever it's clear sand. All right, so what have I got here? This is new here. I'm just circling around the tracks that are really interesting. I don't believe they're wolf tracks from old, yet they look fresh. It's very hard to tell. Power of suggestion is a very powerful thing indeed. But as I look at this print here, we've actually got the indentations of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 toes. And this toe over here, bigger, fatter than the rest of them, cross in a straight line.
Before I get the chance to think it's just a random scuff in the sand, I find an identical track 40 yards away.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's cast them both. All right, got my pancake mix. Just need some blueberries.
This is actually a mixture of a casting material called hydrocal. If any consideration at all is going to be coaxed out of skeptics like myself, it's going to take observational and evidence-based science. Junk science or eyewitness stories alone aren't going to convince anyone. Data has to be logged and cross-referenced. Years of evidence has to be studied by researchers for consistencies. before it will be accepted as proof or even as supporting evidence. The tree breaks are still just a theory, but like it is when I'm out surviving, you have to be out here to get it. Theory though it may be, things do seem to be lining up.
You feel that they point in the direction that is they're okay with you being,
Yes,
but not behind,
that's right.
where I'm standing, basically.
That's right. Don't. You go where the point is.
It's possible that this was a communication of acceptance for the trappers who worked this forest.
Another tree break, and again, the same way. Hannah, big one, too. Will you look at that? See, we have a uniformity here that's actually starting to freak me out a little and get unbelievable, because this is clearly a trap line. He's cut his trail through here. Clearly, I can see that, this break, just like all the others, it points in the same direction. It's saying essentially the same thing. Your side is okay. My side's mine. Don't come this way. And this one follows a trap line all the way through.
To enhance the possibility of our success, we continue on the survey and trap lines. And we stop and hoop at specific calculated points. A few minutes after doing our communication hoops, we're stopped in our tracks by an answer.
Whoa. Did you hear that?
I heard that.
That was a Bigfoot.
Right. You said you want to take nothing for granted.
That was a Bigfoot. That was a whoop.
Yeah, I heard it.
Very clearly. That was not a crow.
Crow.
That was over
here.
that way.
I heard it.
That was the Bigfoot. That's the first time they've ever whooped back to me, ever here. And that's what I was talking about earlier. Nothing is... Because we'll always be walking, there'll always be something going on, we'll be talking, but you just heard that, didn't you?
No, I heard it clear, very clear.
And
we both went
That's
at the very same time.
Yeah.
And at the moment, Todd and I are just sitting here by the campfire, kind of telling campfire stories, and sure enough, just heard a good, solid sound. You can tell it's wood sound. Not far, just a few hundred yards from us, likely. I heard that.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I'm gonna turn the camera so my microphone's pointed in that direction. 3. There's 3. We're not hearing just one thing. It wasn't just one thing now we've heard. What? I don't know. It just sounded like someone hitting one against another. Todd popped his mouth. A couple of small, gentle hoops. So I've got you positioned here with the camera so that the long shotgun mic is pointed in that direction. I got chills going up my spine. Something big, yet stealthy, is out there. And it's no bear, it's no moose, and there's more than one. At least 3 creatures make noises of swishing bushes and tree branches. Little knocks and pops. Deep thuds in the ground that you can feel even though you can't quite hear them.
And now I just heard something break his branch.
Do we believe in scary monsters because it makes life on this planet more exciting?
Now I'm feeling creeped out. Well, I got that feeling. A little spine-tingling, creepy feeling. Might have something to do with walking in the dark and too many horror movies. I don't have the creepy feeling anymore. It's gone. Now, this is the interesting thing. When I get that creepy feeling, I get it. but it dissipates. It's there for a while, and then it's gone. And it feels, and I know feelings aren't facts, but it feels like something was there, and it left. It's like the energy feels like it's leaving, going away. And that's all I'm reacting to, and that's all I'm telling you. I'm not suggesting that there is something there. I'm trying not to suggest that. I'm suggesting that, or I'm saying that I'm having a feeling. But what have I got other than feelings and some words to tell you about them, and that's it. Nothing else. So, in the end, every skeptic has complete right to say, you got nothing. And they'd be right. I keep coming out here, walking in the dark, and going into the creepy zones where people say weird stuff happens, and camping out on lakes where nobody else will go camp, until something happens.
Damn, we might have new prints here. And no signs of the apples. At all. They were here. Apples are gone. I'm seeing new impressions. Because that looks to me like a Bigfoot track right here.
Come here and look at this track. Heel impression. And then there's like holes. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we start back here and it ends up here.
Gosh, it sure does look like an impression, doesn't
It does, doesn't it? My foot wouldn't have made that, and your foot wouldn't have made it.
And if we do the pressure test?
It's the same shape, but really slender. But look at the size of it.
It's huge.
That's not a hoof. It's not a hoof print.
No, that's bigger than anybody's footprint would be.
Checking out the tree structures, places where we've put the apples, just to see if anything's been taken, and indeed, they're gone from down at this one. This is the one right across from our base camp. The apples are gone, and prints, maybe. I know the print that I saw in the sphagnum moss was far too big for a human to make. It was definitely not an ungulate. It was not a bear, actually. The only shape that it had was the shape of a large human-like foot. You know, it had the shape of a Bigfoot. The beauty of tracking right now with this kind of sun is that the sun is hitting the ground on such a sharp angle that any tracks, any impressions, they just pop out at you. Really easy to see the shadows. Okay, this is kind of freaking me out here. I recognize that the camera won't capture the look of this track the way my own eyes do, but no animal I'm aware of could have made it, and there's no reason for the moss to grow indented in this manner. What's freaking me out about this is the track, the way it goes. It's got a definite shape like a human foot, and in the toe end of it, there's literally holes. I see the exact same track here as I saw over there. Look, slender heel.
What the hell is going on?
Long, right? Toe holes.
And look how close he was. This is close.
Yep.
He was looking right at us.
Those tracks were not there the day before.
That's one of the best tracks we've seen yet. It's right in line too, coming up here, right? Look at that. Look at the toes. Okay, I'll do my foot test. Like, look at that. I did nothing.
That's a real heavy animal.
Can you see toes?
I can feel the toe prints. It's like using the, it's like using the toes to push yourself up, right?
That's right, yeah. Left foot.
Yeah.
Right foot indentation.
You thinking grizzly or
I'm thinking Bigfoot. Grizzlies don't walk in a bipedal stride like that. Watch me take this step without grabbing on anything. See, that's a big step.
That's a huge human stride, that's right.
Look at the indentation. Let's do the ground test here.
Yeah, there's no way I can't make that kind of an impression.
Even to be honest, even a grizzly bear.
I was just about to say, even a grizzly is not gonna make that kind of impression because that's just softer footed, you know? A lot would happen this night. More than I feel able to share just yet, as I'm still trying to put my finger on exactly what did go down in the late hours of the night. That said, we did experience a phenomenon I've only ever heard about, but now after years of long dark nights in the woods, I have my own story to tell. This is a search. It's a journey into the unknown. And any amazing journey takes time, diligence, patience. And what happened last night was intriguing and interesting, and just a beginning. On about 4 separate occasions, both of us at the same time, without speaking it until we figured it out after, could feel, all I can say is, could feel a presence. Feelings aren't facts, but they are real at the same time. And the feelings were real. Hair on the back of the neck, that sort of thing. We both heard 2 individual solid footsteps, heavy. Could be anything, could be nothing. And perhaps the most significant, and especially for me, because I experienced this once before in a crazy way up on the top of a mountain, but this was different. This was more like what a lot of other people talk about. Yeah, this was looking out into the bush and seeing a couple of lights. Now, don't get me wrong here. We're not talking about bright flashlights. I've heard it described in so many ways, red glowing eyes that you can see, but that's not even what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about what some people describe as, wait for it, orbs. Now, I can't say that's what I saw. They didn't come close, but they were pretty close, like 30 feet. We're not talking like hundreds of yards away. We're talking 30 feet away. In one case, 15 feet away. 2 different, separate, glowing lights. And they were moving. So it wasn't just a simple reflection. They were moving. It's as if you look and there was a light here. And it sort of expanded a bit and got a little bit smaller. And then over here was a very small one. And we both saw it. Devin saw it first. We both saw it. We watched them. And Devin even attempted communication with it, because this is what has been reported. People able to communicate with orbs, the orbs actually responding to the communication, and more often than not, a Sasquatch encounter happens in a situation like that. So, what did we see? I haven't got a freaking clue what we saw. But I saw it. That part is fact. And we were wide awake, and everything was normal. So, we saw those 2 lights that after, I'm going to say a half an hour, 20 minutes, seemed to disappear. We saw a few other fleeting glimpses of the same thing. And this is not our eyes playing. I know that's what you're probably saying. Oh, your eyes are playing tricks on you. No, both of us are watching the same thing, describing it in the same way, in the same location, conferring with each other of what we're seeing. It's like if you're watching a wolf walk along a trail. You see the wolf? Yeah, I see it. Oh, it was no different.
Okay, so I just heard the strangest sound. It was like someone taking a couple of rocks and just banging them together really fast. And then just like a sound of something substantial just in the bush. And we're talking about maybe 20 feet away from me. But either way, what I just heard was loud, distinct. Also interesting to note that it was down from me. It was in the lower position. And I know that Todd feels when they take a lower position, they're getting very brave. I don't know what time it is, but it's pre-dawn. And I'm just gonna lie here and see what else happens. That was crazy.
Okay. A tree just fell over. Over there. A very large tree. Wow. I've got chills, and the hair's up on the back of my neck. I hope that was just natural. I'm shaking. But I was just sad. I haven't lit a fire yet or anything. And it's just boom, boom, crash. I'm gonna turn on the audio recorders, which means, unfortunately, I have to walk towards that area. Okay, I'm spooked now. I am here on the stillest of nights. There is not a breath of wind. You know, at any other time, in any other camping trip, in any other situation, I'd say, oh, that's really cool. Tree must have just rotted just at that time. Oh, and I got to hear it. That's what I've been telling myself for years and years. But since doing the research, there's a lot about how they push trees over to scare you. Whatever they are. I'm out here in what's reported to be, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, hotspot for Bigfoot, I guess. And it's the most stunningly beautiful, quiet night here right now. And a huge rock or tree falls over in the corner there. Doesn't make sense. If I get something back, I don't know that I'll even stay. You see, this is the thing, too. It's one of those things, right? It's like, okay, why didn't I get that recorded? Literally, I'm sitting here thinking, well, it's almost dark. I should get the fire going. And because I've got 8 hours on the recorder, so I want them to work through the night. So it's like, well, I'm here, I'll wait. You know, I'm not expecting anything right now, so I'll wait a while. And then I will turn on the recorders. So nothing's on yet. I wasn't talking to you, so I didn't have the camera running. I was sitting here quietly, enjoying this. This is going to be a long night.
Right now, over there, a tree structure that is so significant, I don't think you could have made it without big equipment or ropes.
Really?
As a human being.
All right.
So we'll go have a look. You see it already. We'll go investigate it.
Okay.
I'll show you why
Okay.
it's so significant.
As we approach the structure, it really isn't something you'd notice if you were walking by. There doesn't seem to be anything exceptional about the area. It's not high ground or low ground. There's no nearby creek or specialty food sources. Of all the places, why build a structure here? I need to see if Todd is onto something that few, if any, before him have discovered. Let's give Gigantopithecus the benefit of doubt for now. It would be the closest thing to a human in intelligence that we know. So why wouldn't it make markings and build structures to communicate?
So the first thing you'll notice is the cross section is about 14, 13 feet in the air. All these trees are from a different direction, but some of them, like this one right here, that's thrown upside down. Ever seen a butt of a tree 15, 20 feet in the air like that? And even better than that, if you look at this one over here on the left, it's suspended in the air. Look at the butt, 2 feet off the ground. It doesn't happen naturally. This structure is over 30 years old, probably more like 50. That road that we walked in on is 10 years old. You know how far it was to get in? Can you imagine this being here 30 years ago when there was no road? This tree is bent in. It's actually physically been bent and twisted into this structure.
To play skeptic, I'm trying to say, okay, let's throw the Bigfoot notion out the window. Okay. Let's say natural occurrence. And I can't think of a natural occurrence to pull this in. All we really have to work with out here is the weight of the snow and windstorms and rot. The snow couldn't have done this. I know that. Wind wouldn't have done this. I know that. Rot wouldn't have done this. I know that. There is one missing link. There is one last thing that could be left here, and that is, what about a human or humans? Well, I work with trees all the time. I maneuver trees around, I use dead trees, I use live trees, I put them into position, I make shelters, I make signifiers, I make markings. As a man, I could build this. The issue is the level of difficulty is extreme. There's age to the trees, and that's very, very difficult to fake, and it's aged in position. These trees were, in some cases, possibly dragged and put in place, in other cases, pushed where they stood. And the ones that are pushed where they stood, I take a look at them, and the bottom is old. If this was done even within the last 2 years, it wouldn't look like this, which tells me that this thing has been here for quite some time, and which tells me that the potential for this to have been faked is small. I can get close to the feeling of survival in a place like this, which means I hope to get close to the reality or the non-reality, disproving the Sasquatch. And when you come and look at a structure like this, I'm challenged. I'm challenged to disprove this. I'm challenged to say, Todd was in here last week. He had some buddies. They put this all into place. This is pretty powerful.
See up there right below that log, see there's little bits of debris on that stick? That's where the high apple was that they got to.
All right, did you put one up higher?
No, that's as high as I got.
Well, then why is there an apple way up there?
What do you mean? Where? What the hell's
You see it?
Never would have thought to look up for apples.
You don't recall trying to throw it there?
There's no way I did that. There's no way.
Huh.
So, yeah, I don't know.
It couldn't have been thrown.
There's no way.
That would have taken a long time to throw that. That's kind of freaky.
That's really weird, yeah.
Todd seems genuinely surprised that one of the apples put out as bait or gift was removed from the lower position on the tree and placed at least 10 feet higher.
Now, these examples are actually common around the west coast of Canada, and they're just a bizarre potential example of Sasquatch activity. We've got this tree that's clearly upside down and shoved down into the earth. And if I come here and I look down, that's old down there. It's not fresh. Nobody's been here in the last week. My suggestion, if you wanted to hoax this, you have a gas-powered auger, you aug your hole, you pick up a tree like this, you pop it in, fill it in, you're done. But the thing is, there's old moss down here. This thing has been here a long, long time. And so I am going to rule out human hoaxing on this one right away. What else could it be? Could it be industry, logging, or roads people? Well, the question has to be asked, why? Why bother? Because it was done years ago. Why bother? Is it a marker for something? As humans, we don't make things like this as markers. We put them in nice and perfect, and the thin part would be at the top, the fat part down in the ground, be chopped off properly. You'd see hammer marks to hammer it down. This is just an upside-down tree shoved down deep into the ground. And they occur like this in random places throughout, potentially North America. I know in Canada for sure. It's claimed that these are markers set out by Sasquatch. What they mark, what they mean, who knows? So what is it, and why is it here?
As we work on shelters in the rain, Max and I find much of our camera equipment failing in ways we can't explain. Humidity normally just shuts things down, but our gear is malfunctioning in ways we've never seen. Many researchers claim that Sasquatch have the ability to affect electrical signals. And then, as if on cue, Inker comes running from the forest after hearing some loud knocking.
So I have to pretty much just take Inker's word for it. I mean, there are big trees, and it is windy. Trees knock and it sounds in the wind. But I did hear what he heard. And just a single thunk kind of sound. When Inker said he had that feeling in the back of his neck, I didn't. But I'm getting it now. So, I just walk here. That's pretty much where the sound emanated from.
Our camera equipment continues to fail, while the knocking also continues. And in my mind, I'm deducing that it does in fact sound deliberate. But I'm refusing to believe Inker that it's not just a tree in the wind. Yet it sounds like something inside the tree, hitting the tree whenever I turn away. My ears can hear it, but the camera mics are not picking it up. Many of these cedars can be hollow from the bottom to the top, and anything large could live inside.
I just heard two. Bang, bang. So I'm just gonna act nonchalant. This is me acting nonchalant. I'm hearing the knocks all the time right now. I do admit it's a strange sound to hear if it was just made by the wind. There's all the rest of the creaking and the knocking and the banging. There should be lots. A lot of trees here. It's just really confusing. Because I'm walking closer and closer to the sound. And I'm pretty sure it's this big tree.
I'm not normally curious about sounds in the wilderness, but this one is different.
Sounds hollow. This is the tree.
Inker was so sure it was a Sasquatch. I just want to prove him wrong.
It's all stuck. That's strange. Wow, what a difference. This one's solid. That one sounds.
I can't hear another single sound of tree noises in the storm. Only the sound coming from the inside of this tree, and the timing of the knocks sounds deliberate. For now, I've backed away from the tree knocks, even though they continue at what seems like deliberate intervals. We have more important matters, our own survival on this small mountaintop. The rain is turning to wet snow at times, and without a fire, we'll have a miserable night.
You gotta be kidding me. Even the toilet paper's not burning. But look at that. It won't even burn.
Wow. I don't know, man. I know they want us here.
It's not such a flippant comment after all. With Inker, everything in the wilderness is observed and accepted on a spiritual level. He believes we're being tested at a skill both of us should be very good at. And with the fire failing so much, and the relentless rain, Inker and I, and even my cameraman Max, are just thinking, let's get out of here. But our internal spirit is keeping us trying. Inker scrounges for dry material, but everywhere is drenched. Both of our lighters are empty, and I'm running out of matches. This is indeed becoming a test of our character.
You gotta be kidding me.
With the tree knocking still sounding deliberate and separate from the storm winds, continuing only 100 feet away, match after match fails. And now I'm out and left with only a small bit of coal and no dry wood to add to it. But coinciding with our lowest moment emotionally, and seemingly in the nick of time, suddenly, only 50 feet from us, a massive tree falls down. It makes us all jump. Revealed in the tree fall is a huge supply of dry wood, so dry that it powders easily. With the new dry wood, I'm finally able to coax out flames. The wind continues, as does the rain, but the tree knocking stops the second I get the fire to take. Inker has his own perspective on what just happened. Inker's thoughts are that the Creator, working in tandem with Sasquatch, observed us in the testing and blessed us, gave us an opportunity to survive. It's the kind of perspective that requires an open mind and a big picture view of the circumstances. Individually, many events don't seem so special, but when you string them together, only then can you see a connection. The dangers of hypothermia. 2 skilled bushmen can't get a fire going, and so we're tested. A test of our character to not give up and just go home. There are strange, deliberate-sounding tree knocks from the moment we arrive. And suddenly, as if we had proven ourselves worthy, a big pile of dry wood is dropped at our feet exactly when we needed it. The second the flame becomes strong enough to hold, the knocks stop, even though the wind and rain did not. And our cameras, they malfunctioned only from the moment we arrived at the lake, and then they began to shut down, only to work perfectly fine the next day. The tree breaks are still just a theory. But like it is when I'm out surviving, you have to be out here to get it. Theory though it may be, things do seem to be lining up.
You feel that they point in the direction that is they're okay with you being,
Yes,
but not behind,
that's right.
where I'm standing, basically.
That's right. Don't. You go where the point is.
It's possible that this was a communication of acceptance for the trappers who worked this forest.
Another tree break, and again, same way. Hannah, big one, too. Will you look at that? See, we have a uniformity here that's actually starting to freak me out a little and get unbelievable, because this is clearly a trap line. He's cut his trail through here. Clearly, I can see that, this break, just like all the others, it points in the same direction. It's saying essentially the same thing. Your side is okay. My side's mine. Don't come this way. And this one follows a trap line all the way through.
To enhance the possibility of our success, we continue on the survey and trap lines. And we stop and hoop at specific calculated points. A few minutes after doing our communication hoops, we're stopped in our tracks by an answer.
Whoa. Did you hear that?
I heard that.
That was a Bigfoot.
Right. You said you want to take nothing for granted.
That was a Bigfoot. That was a whoop.
Yeah, I heard it.
Very clearly. That was not a crow.
Crow.
That was over
here.
that way.
I heard it.
That was the Bigfoot. That's the first time they've ever whooped back to me, ever here. And that's what I was talking about earlier. Nothing is... Because we'll always be walking, there'll always be something going on, we'll be talking, but you just heard that, didn't you?
No, I heard it clear, very clear.
And
we both went at the very same time.
As my night continues, things get weird. I see large, strange lights over a distant mountain hovering in the sky. If it was a jet, it would have been 5 times bigger than the Concorde. 4 massive lights sat still and unmoving. By the time I set up my camera, they were gone. I shrugged it off and tried to get some sleep.
Oh man, I just had the most insane dream. I fell asleep and fire got cold and I dreamt that a Sasquatch came and was sitting on top of me and not letting me get up. And it became super vivid just for that moment, you know, in between dream and awake, where you think it's real. I lit a big fire.
We've all had vivid dreams, but this went beyond that. It felt like a big set of buttocks holding me down, while my head was completely engulfed inside the mummy sleeping bag. I struggled to get my upper arm free and to pull my head out from the bag, at this point wide awake and still feeling trapped. And the second I did get my face out of the bag, the feeling disappeared. Perhaps just a coincidental dream. I can't dispute that. But it sure didn't feel like one. The next morning, things get even stranger.
Oh boy. Well, everything's gone. The apple's gone. Power bars are gone. All right, well, I'm gonna turn around and look at the camera. Hope it's still upright. And it is. Let's check the camera out. All right. Everything's gone. Okay. Let's see how many clips we've got here. 9 clips. Huh. All right, so there's 9 clips on this camera. And this time the apples were taken. The camera did not fall over. When I get below, we'll find out who the culprit is.
So let's establish the efficiency of the trail cams. They're motion triggered, with about a half-second delay, but they're very sensitive. Here are a series of shots from the base of the mountain, where they were set off by something quickly going through the field of vision. Even dust particles will trigger it to record. Now for some reason, with nothing showing as having just run through the screen, here is a recorded image of the apple in its place throughout the night. In this first clip, I've highlighted the apple with a light circle. Now did you see that? The apple was well stuck on a branch, pointing up and away from the ground, so gravitational pull shouldn't have pulled it off. But in the second clip, it just disappears. It just vanishes, along with 3 chocolate bars I'd put on the other branches, and nothing was caught on film. Let's look at the 2 clips again in real time. There's nothing to indicate what set off the camera into recording. Now there. Do you see that at the bottom? What was that? Let's watch it again in real time once more, and this time watch the branches on the middle tree, then the bottom left of the screen. Now here it is blown up in real time. And here it is in slow motion. Now let's freeze frame on the culprit. What is that? Whatever it is, It has to be big enough to make a large tree shake. But here's the real rub. That spot where you see it pop up is at least 6 feet high off the ground.
You guys hear that?
What did you hear, Randy?
I hear something behind us.
Yeah.
Where we came from.
Behind you, Zoe.
Finally, after hours, we hear something I've only ever heard once before, many years ago. Will be argued about by many.
That was intense. You guys have heard coyotes as well, I mean.
I've heard them all my life.
Yeah.
And that call?
You know what that was? That was an imitation call.
You think it was something imitating a coyote?
Yeah, trying to. Yeah.
I always hear them very high-pitched, very yippy, and usually many of them together. Now, okay, let me ask you a question. What would be the best way for us to react right now?
I think one of Randy's calls.
Yeah?
Be nice.
I can't say what it was, but I'm not ready to say coyote or wolf. Every creature, including ourselves, is bound by two factors: that which we do by instinct and that which we can be taught to do. So was it an instinctual cry of a known species of wildlife? Or a learned method of communication from something as yet undiscovered by mainstream science? It was all we would hear this night, though we continued on in the dark.
So whatever that screech was, that was strange. I'll be replaying that one in my mind for a while. So tonight, the crew's all together in one spot, and I've chosen to come out a little bit more isolated from them, 150 yards away or so, and just so I could be out here on my own, and I'll let you know if anything happens.
As I camp off on my own in Randy's hot spot for Sasquatch, I get a little more than I bargained for.
So I got something outside the tent. It just woke me up. It was pushing around, moving around all over the tent. Probably a raccoon. And I can hear some big branches being broken far off.
What I failed to mention here is that the pushing came from above, at least 4 feet up on the top of the tent. Long, slow, gentle pushes down. Not very raccoon-like at all.
So whatever was right here is gone, I think. But I mean, I literally woke up. It was light. It was just pushing all around on the tent, just pushing. This just doesn't make sense. They gotta wonder sometimes what I get myself into.
This was scary, exhilarating, and makes you doubt everything you ever learned that's real and unreal.
Back in 2014, I began work on a 10-part documentary series on the subject of Bigfoot. It took me places I did not expect to go, and it gave me a perspective I did not expect to have. Well, it's been 10 years, and a lot of questions still remain. Join me and help me to answer the litany of questions hanging over the phenomenon known as Bigfoot.
Walking up, I could see that there was something there. As I got closer, it stood up.
I know there's something there. I'm a lot more leery when I go out. I mean really leery.
And I seen this humongous arm reach right in.
One of the dogs got killed, twisted, and torn in two.
What the heck have I heard when I've been out in the wilderness on so many different occasions? When I want answers, I go after them. My new documentary film, The Question of Bigfoot, will attempt to answer all of the skeptics' burning questions. Why don't we see one on a trail cam? Where are the bones? Have they ever been hit by a car? Why haven't we captured one? Is there enough room out there in the wilderness for them to exist? Are they real or are they not? I can't do this without you. So take a look at all of the rewards within this Kickstarter campaign and help me to produce The Question of Bigfoot.